Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Rockland School Committee meeting of Tuesday, October 9th, 2018. First on tonight's agenda, we have the acceptance of the meeting minutes of September 24th, 2018.
Motion. Accept. Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Phelps and a second by Mr. Mills. All those in favor?
I'm going to abstain, seeing I wasn't here. But I did watch it on TV, except I couldn't watch the executive session. But
How do we look?
you looked great.
Thank you.
Yeah. I fell asleep.
Next up, we also have to accept the meeting minutes of the executive session of the meeting of September 24th, 2018.
Motion.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? So vote.
I'll abstain.
One abstention.
Yeah.
Seeing nothing under communications and nothing under audience, we'll move to superintendent's report. Dr. Crum.
Thank you. I'd like to begin by congratulating the Jefferson School, who was in the news last week, being recognized by the Department of Education for their exceptional scores on the MCAS exams, for exceeding their performance targets. It's fun to see. They're one of 52 schools in the state who are recognized, and there are 1,847 schools in the state. So they're in great company. And the best part is that they've been working so hard. It's nice to see the effects of the good news on the teachers and for them to get some outside validation that they're doing the right things. And again, not only at the Jefferson School, but some very good news coming out of the other schools as well. So I've been meeting with the principal. I will be meeting with each principal individually to go over their MCAS scores and preparing a full report for the committee shortly.
I might say that a lot of that is due to your administrators and yourself, that has been such improvement.
Thank you.
And I'd add to that although the article and the results were based on Jefferson School, that is really a litmus and is really indicative of some of the successes and the advancements going on district-wide across all three of our elementary schools and our middle school and high school. Although they might not have been the highlights of the news story, as you pointed out, Dr. Cron, there's lots of great things going on at both the Eston and Memorial Park schools as well. So important to highlight that. But I was really happy for our students over at Jefferson and our administration and staff to see that news. That's great.
Yeah.
Always good news to get a pat on the back.
And I think just the article itself, being on the front page of the local section, good news.
Absolutely.
Instead of, some other stuff that we sometimes hear. That was wonderful. And it was nice to see the kids on it. And it's good stuff.
Very good stuff. Very good stuff. Also wanted to inform the committee that Jane Hackett and I met last Wednesday with First Students Regional Manager Jessica Quint to begin the discussion around our concerns. We had a very fruitful meeting. My feeling was that First Student really accepted responsibility for all of the issues that we've had to date. Our primary concerns were around roots and the use of a program called Versatran that creates the roots, and some of the communication back and forth around that data. So we have a follow-up meeting tomorrow with the local manager and some of the drivers, and Miss Penny and Ms. Hackett will also be there. So we're feeling like we've taken a giant step in the right direction anyway.
Did you say Versatran?
Versatran, yeah. It's a software.
Is that their own?
No,
Or is that
Versatran's
generic?
proprietary. It's
Okay.
used all across, I think all across the country, but I know it's used throughout
It's a
Massachusetts.
scheduling system.
It's a scheduling system for bus routes, yeah.
Yeah. And
There's
we-
none perfect, but it seems to be the one that most people use.
Okay. And what do you supply the data? Do we supply the data to them?
We supply the data,
Okay.
yeah.
Do we, the required data are we meeting those criteria for?
Well, the data is quite simple, just
Yeah,
grade,
addresses and
grade,
grade.
school, name, street address.
Okay.
So it's
Well
very
done.
basic.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
They lay the routes out? I'm sorry to interrupt. Or I thought we laid.
No, what they do is they feed everything into, this is my current understanding, they feed all of the data into Versatran, which spits out routes. You also have to tell it your stops.
Right.
But there are some limitations that Versatran has that create some user issues. For example, you may have the same stop used by more than one bus, but the computer program only has the ability to name that stop one time.
Right.
And it makes for confusing, right, so they end up exporting the data into an Excel spreadsheet, and that's when things go south.
Yeah, that's okay.
So we think there's a human side to all of this, but we are optimistic that we're going to be able to work it out. So that was a good first meeting. Looking forward to resolving that. I also wanted to share, just highlight some advanced placement news from the high school. And I just wanted to remind folks that advanced placement courses are college credit courses that are offered at the high school level. According to Dr. Harrison, last year, and we're dealing with last year's tests and this year's, the results from last year, we had the highest passing rate, which means 3, 4, or 5. So 47% of our students taking the courses received a 3, 4, or 5.
Wow.
That's 96 students. During the
Good.
2017-18 school year, we had 6 AP scholars, 6 AP scholars with honor, and 6 AP scholars with distinction. So these students are recognized. We have Dr. Harrison put a plaque up in the hallway of the high school, and these students are being recognized there. I'm going to read their names shortly. It's a significant improvement from 2 years ago when we had only 1 AP scholar with distinction and 1 AP scholar with honor. So an AP scholar recognitions are given to students who achieve a grade of 3.0, meaning they score on the exam a 3, 4, or 5 on at least 3 full-time AP courses. So to receive, again, AP Scholar, you have to have taken at least 3 AP exams at the same time and received 3, 4, or 5. AP Scholar with honors are awarded to students who receive a 3, 4, or 5 on at least 4 AP exams. And we don't recommend most students take 4 AP exams, so these folks are really going for it to begin with. So we really commend them. And they must have an AP average of at least 3.25 on all of their exams. So the following students are recognized. I'd just like to read their names. AP Scholars. Some of these have graduated and some are juniors. Caitlin Cameron, Alexandra Domina, Rebecca Elliott, Meredith Long, Matthew O'Brien, Declan Rogers, and James White. AP Scholars with honors. Harrison Hunter, Margaret Jones, Sorcy McNally, Rebecca Pinero, Michelle Ramoska, Sabrina Sprague. An AP Scholar with distinction, John Ellard III, Aidan J. Glennon, Lily Matson, Ronan McNally, Joseph Naughton, and Sean Chagru. 26.5 of the seniors in the class of 2018 passed an AP exam during their time at Rockland High School. It's our highest percentage of students in a graduating class who have passed an AP exam ever.
That's just seniors, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
We
Yeah,
also
juniors.
just wanted to remind folks that we added 2 new advanced placement courses this year. Last year, AP Computer Science, and then this year, AP Seminar. But I want to highlight one individual whose accomplishments are extraordinary, and that's John Ellard III.
Yeah.
He was awarded, based on his PSAT scores, he is now a commended scholar. So what that means, it means he was in the top 3% of all test takers nationally. So to put that in perspective, there were 1.6 million students who took the PSATs. He was in the top 50,000.
Wow.
PSATs are APs.
PSATs.
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 Okay.
What that means is he's a rock star.
He is a rock star.
It's outstanding.
And
we
are so, we are very, very proud of him.
Should he be recognized here? Or
Yeah, as I was preparing this today, I was thinking we might want to invite him.
Yeah.
And his family.
I know Dr. Harrison has recognized him online and a few
Yeah,
of those
I saw
things,
that.
but I think bringing him in would be wonderful. And I'm also told that he, perfect score, what was that, Dr. Harrison?
Oh, you got a perfect choice.
His
SAT.
SAT, he got a perfect score
I saw
in his
that too.
Oh, I
math
was gonna say, I think I
SATs.
saw that
amazing.
too.
So he
So-
is,
The other thing that's amazing to me, not to cut you off, I know
No.
you're still going, but you sort of made a comment a minute ago that just a couple of years ago that there was only 1 AP scholar, is that right?
1 AP scholar with honor and 1 AP scholar with distinction.
I may have miscounted, but it sounded as though this past year we had 7 AP scholars, 7 AP scholars with honors and 5 with distinction, is that correct?
6 AP scholars with honors and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 AP scholars with distinction.
Wow, that's incredible.
Incredible.
That's incredible. Incredible progress by our district to be able to create an environment for that to happen, but also for the student body. I mean, they've stepped it up too. I mean, I know lots of times at meetings in the past, you talked about growing the AP program
Yes.
and getting kids to be able to embrace it, and clearly they have, and the writing's on the wall and the proof is here, so that's awesome.
I also like to condemn, not condemn, commend. This is not like it. I commend the teachers. I mean,
Absolutely.
you know, because, you know, they have to actually take additional courses in order to get certified to do AP courses.
do.
Yeah, and they spend more time doing that stuff. And, you know, it's a pretty intensive, those are pretty intensive courses.
Very intense. In
Yeah.
fact, most really require much longer than a school
Right,
year.
yeah.
Many require work in the summer.
Yeah.
Um,
Especially the sciences, biology and stuff like that, you know, those,
Yep.
yeah.
Can we, just to elaborate on the thought about Mr. Eilert inviting him to be recognized here, can we invite all these folks here
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
all together, maybe the same night? I think that's,
yeah.
we want to recognize all these kids that are, you know, stepping up to do this. That's,
And their teachers.
yeah,
Yeah, sure.
good stuff.
Okay.
How many AP courses do we offer now?
Currently, I'm gonna ask Dr. Harrison, how many are we offering currently? I wanna say 13.
About 13, we rotate chemistry and environmental science
Right.
each year.
Okay.
It's about 13,
And you just have the AP computer science principles, right?
correct.
And you're not doing the A computer science, okay.
And is that relative to what other districts are doing as well?
I'll tell you, your top flight districts will have, on average, I'd say 17, 18,
Yeah.
maybe 19 AP courses. For a district our size, I'd say that it's on the high side.
Yeah.
Right.
What we're offering is on the high side.
Okay.
We've been very aggressive about it. And the reason that I feel so strongly about AP is not just the effect it has on the students who actually engage in AP coursework, but the effect that it has on the entire curriculum. And if you're a teacher of AP, you're a good AP teacher, you're just a good teacher. So it brings rigorous curriculum to the building, and it brings instructional rigor as well.
And they, you know, and I know teachers that do this, and, you know, they'll take AP stuff and put it in their regular classes.
Sure.
Yeah, and then, you know, just to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just to bring it
Well,
up, because there's such good material.
It's very good material. And what you'll hear in December when our graduates come back, because we've been hearing it more every year, but this past year I have a vivid picture of sitting in the lecture hall listening to the seniors speaking, and the number who saved money in college. Because those threes translate to you get to
classes.
waive a college
Yeah.
credit
Right.
class. So
That's what I was gonna
you
say,
can go on and take something that you instead of an undergraduate prerequisite, you may be able to take a course that you'd have to pay for later. So there's a financial aspect to this
And
too.
the books and everything else that go along with it. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
And
What I
think
really
it-
like about this, I'm sorry, Mrs. Maroney, go ahead.
Go ahead.
What I was going to say was I'm really, what really makes me feel good about this is we always talk about in Rockland schools how we want to provide a first-class education for all of our students and have an access to a first-class education. And that might mean something different for every kid. I mean, there may be kids who have certain challenges that we may need to meet to be able to help them give access to our curriculum. In other cases, like what we're talking about with someone like Mr. Ellard, who's incredibly gifted, we need to be able to give him the
Absolutely.
tools to
Right.
be able to have him succeed as well.
That's right.
And clearly that exists here in Rockland
Yeah.
Public Schools, and that's really great. There's something for everybody here.
Yeah, that's an excellent point.
Mrs. Maroney, I'm sorry?
I was going to go with that as well, but I was going to also say that I think part of us is to make sure that they're ready to step into college life. And if they're that gifted, you want them to be able to, you know, not flounder when they get
That's
up
right.
into college. By having these AP courses, you're setting them up on that extra level.
That's
you
right.
know?
That's
'Cause-
exactly right. When we've had speakers in to sort of pump up the students about AP, it really is, you know, this idea of expose yourself to what college rigor is like.
Right.
Why wait? You know, do it now.
Right.
And not all AP courses are created equal. So a course like AP Psychology, for example, is an excellent way for a student who considers themselves, you know, right down the middle, average student. It's very accessible to most students in Rockland High School. So we're glad, very, very personally and professionally happy to see Dr. Harrison taking this to a new level.
Great.
And, yeah.
That's super job.
And that is all that I have for tonight.
That's good stuff.
Indeed. Thank you, Dr. Cron.
Thank you.
Next, under our agenda, item 5, we have our monthly reports for the month of September. And we'll be entertaining 4 motions to approve reports for the administrators, guidance, nurse, and pupil personnel services.
Full motion.
4 seconds.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. That is a vote. Next up, for your information, we have our school newsletters for October, which as always are,
Colorful.
I was just gonna say, which are always so informative, but they're growing more and more colorful, and our reps at WV Mason or whoever supplies us our papers must be loving us for our ink supply, but that is not a complaint, because I love seeing this, and they're so well put together, and I'm sure that moms and dads at home are really enjoying seeing all this, you know, great stuff and the good things that are happening in our schools come home to communicate with our student families.
Right.
So great job by everybody. Next up, under item 6, we have under old business, a Guatemala update. Dr. Cron.
Thank you. Yeah, just so that we can keep the public and the committee up to date on where we are with Guatemala. I know that everyone is aware of this, but just to reiterate, we had some new information that is relevant to this Guatemala trip regarding an incident that happened to an employee of Worthy Village, and it made us reassess. I'll just kind of read. We had some questions surrounding the medical emergency support, police response, and proximity between where the incident occurred and where students would be staying. So we've launched a complete investigation. Dr. Harrison has been speaking with Worthy Village and met with the families. And after a thoughtful review of the incident, Dr. Harrison is satisfied that the safety precautions that have been established by Worthy Village and Rockland High School are reasonable. But we do and did want to offer families, if they were troubled by and decided that they did not want to go on the trip, we did want to offer them an out in light of the new information. So Dr. Harrison has written a letter that I've shared with you, and it essentially just makes sure that all of the families of the students who are going on this trip, that they are aware that this incident took place and that they still are choosing to go on this trip. So that's what this letter is saying, that this letter would go out tomorrow, but I wanted to give the committee a chance to weigh in on it if they had anything to say, and also just to, again, be transparent and open with the public about all the processes going on with this Guatemala trip.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the level of communication that's happened on this and the level of care that's been given to us. I know it's a sensitive situation, and I know that you and yourself and Dr. Harrison have given great care and great consideration to it. And I know that there's been a meeting with Dr. Harrison and the parents who are talking about going on the trip. Is that right?
Correct.
And they had the opportunity to review the situation and understand
Yes.
it. And to your knowledge, at this point, everybody seems to be looking to proceed with the
Yep.
trip as far as the
No one
parents
has
go.
indicated that they were going to back out of the trip.
Very good. Any comments or questions from the committee?
I personally still have concerns about this, you know. And we've had that discussion, I had a discussion with Dan about this. I understand why they still want to go on the trip and all that. It's just, it's troubling to me, you know, that, you know, it's to quote a famous philosopher that's on this board, it's a third world country, you know, and they can promise a whole bunch of things. And I've been in third world countries, and, you know, you put it bluntly, shit happens, and they don't take care of themselves out down there. So I really have some concerns about this.
I just want to say that from the get-go, I always had concerns, but in this situation where we voted to allow this to transpire, I think that the choice that you and Dr. Harrison have taken is a good one, and to fully inform the parents of what has transpired and get their permission, I think then we have to proceed. But don't talk to me next year, because I will probably be in the same place I was for the past 2 or 3 years.
The only concern and point that I would have, and I'm confident that this would be the case, is that in this particular case that we have a continued sense of heightened communication, both from the school to parents, but also I hope from the parents to the schools with any questions or concerns that they may have. We're certainly open to any questions or concerns. I know everybody on this committee wants the best and the safest for our students and our kids. But that being said, I do agree with Mr. Phelps, and we did vote to approve this, and it's a very unfortunate situation, and my thoughts and prayers are out to everybody involved, and we can only do our best. And I hope that if these folks and parents do understand it and do make the decision to go forward, that it does end up indeed being a wonderful trip.
Okay. Now, we're going to vote on this letter, and I think the letter is well-written, and, it's a good document. What if a parent doesn't sign this?
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, I guess. I'm not sure, will there be a vote tonight?
I'm not sure that there's necessary, Tom, and you may agree, but I'm not sure administratively if it's a need for us to vote, for the school committee to vote a correspondence from the principal to the parents. But if you feel you'd like to vote it, I'm happy to vote it. The other thing I would say is that if any parent chooses not to sign it or chooses not to go on the trip, then that's something that this committee would take very seriously and support that decision by a family that would
Right.
choose not to go on this trip.
Right.
If any parent, for any reason, without question, wanted or felt for any reason that we wouldn't even ask the question if they wish not to go, I know my position would be that we would make sure, no matter how it happened, that they would be able to withdraw from the trip without penalty. But that being said, I also don't want to penalize anybody who's made the decision or the financial investment to go on this trip.
I would disagree that we should be voting on this.
Okay.
For the simple reason is that we've had legal counsel look at this, right?
We have, yeah.
Okay, and that, and that's been, we hired a legal counsel as a committee.
Okay.
And, and this is a reflection of this Rockland School Committee. Our name's right there in the town of Rockland about the
Sure.
schools.
Okay.
So
I'm with you.
yeah.
And if we're giving them their money back, then that's on us financially too, right?
Absolutely. And I wouldn't have any
So I think
discomfort
that's
in
why,
doing that,
right, I
as far as
agree.
I'm concerned.
I agree with both Mr. Mills and Mr. Phelps too, that
Yeah.
we have to trust that the parents are making.
Okay, I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, that's a vote. Thank you very much. Next up, under new business, 2018, October 1st enrollment. Dr. Crum.
Okay, I'll keep it very simple. We are up 48 students this year. We have 2,247 students in the district. October 1st is compared to last year, which was 2,199 students.
That's good.
Good news.
Very positive.
Do you know how many school choice students, is that up at all, do you know, Doctor?
School choice, I believe, is at 88 students,
Is that
which
what-
is an all-time high
It is,
for the
okay.
district, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. The other thing on that too is I was just looking at the forecast coming in 198, 181, 162, 167. It's a little slight, but this ground roads, how many do we lose to private schools besides school choice?
I mean, I could put together the numbers for you where they're all going,
Right.
if you'd like that.
Yeah, I would like to see
Yeah.
that, yeah. Thank you.
Anything else on enrollment?
That's it.
Okay.
Looks good.
Very good. Thank you, Dr. Crum. Next up, under new business, we have approval of fundraisers, and we've got quite a few.
Yeah.
So the Rogers Middle School is going to be very busy, and they're going to be doing 6 separate fundraisers. 3 for the grade 8 Philadelphia trip. One's going to be a Lucky 8 raffle. One's going to be a Hilliard's candy bar sale. One is going to be a bake sale. The PAC is going to have a Bulldog sack bags sale, a Name That Circle, and a raffle calendar. So why don't we start with that? We'll do 6 motions for the Rogers Middle School's fundraisers.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? That's a vote, thank you. And next up, the daycare is going to be doing a fundraiser. They're going to be doing a Yankee candle sale through October and November. So we will look for one motion on that.
Motion approved.
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you. Rockland High School is going to be doing 2 fundraisers. The class of 2022 will be doing a water bottle sale, and the Images Club will be doing the Hilliard's chocolate sales in October.
2 motions.
2 motions, 2 seconds. All those in favor? Thank you very much. Lastly, the Jefferson School has 14 fundraisers. Good job, Jefferson
Yeah.
School. So the
Get 'em all.
Jefferson School
Get 'em all
PAC
in.
has 14 fundraisers, and one will be a book bingo, a fun run, a Halloween dance, a Yankee candle sale in November, a McDonald's night in November, holiday movie night in December, Change Wars, special person dance, Bertucci's night out, March Madness calendar, candy bar bingo, ice cream truck and raffle night, Timber Lanes 50/50 raffle, and a Bay State Textiles ongoing sale.
I take it the change was is people bringing in their change and, you know, trying to,
Yeah.
you know, get moms and dads piggybacks and so.
Class to class competition.
Raid the
Okay.
couch
All right,
cushions.
that's
Right.
it, all right.
Car
14 motions?
14 motions and 14 seconds. All those in
All
favor?
right.
That's a vote. Thank you.
Looking good.
Next up, item C, donation.
Oh, that was nice.
We like donations.
Yeah. This one was a nice one.
Yes.
Dr. Cron, would you like to speak about it?
Just thank you very much to former Selectman Michael Johnson and his wife, Michelle Johnson. Mr. Johnson has donated what was left in his campaign account to the cross-country team, and the amount is $1,089.74.
It's a no check, you
Yeah.
can't figure out how to read it.
And I think it's great.
Motion to approve, accept.
All those in favor?
With a caveat, make sure we send them a nice letter.
Absolutely. All those in favor? That is a vote. Thank you. And thank you to Mr. Johnson and Mrs. Johnson. The Johnsons have done a lot for Rockland over the years and a lot for this high school and its clubs over the years. And it's really generous of them to make this decision when we liquidated his campaign account to have it benefit our cross-country team. So thank you to the Johnson family. Last up, we have a school building education plan, Dr. Cron.
Well, I'm not sure if you got a chance to read the entire thing, but just to give you a little background, this is part of the MSBA's building. They require districts to document their educational program and define our proposed educational activities. And said they believe that only then can the district work effectively with its designer, OPM, and local stakeholders to develop, evaluate, and select a design that supports its educational objectives. So that is what I have attempted to do here in this 28-page document.
A lot of words.
A lot
And
of reading.
a lot of reading, yeah.
But
A
I'm
lot of
impressed with
lot.
your
Well,
information. I
So I
learned
don't-
from it. if that-
good, good. I'm not sure if you have any questions. I could do my best to answer.
Pretty much everything's there that's been reflected over the last year and a half.
Right.
In planning and talking about, and the different meetings of the different committees. I think it's an excellent document.
And just to comment, I think, just maybe about the document, and maybe about the effort in general, I know that there's a lot of people that have been hearing about the effort or the exploration of an effort to maybe build a new elementary school, and there hasn't been a lot of fast-acting news coming out, but that doesn't mean that there isn't work being done, and there aren't meetings happening, and there aren't great volunteers from our town getting together to talk about the feasibility of such a thing, or what that might look like, and there's a lot of good progress being made. And I think the big question that everyone keeps asking, and probably the folks out there in TV land keep asking, is sort of where it's going to be, and when we're going to be voting on it, and how much it's going to be. And really, there's no real big answer to that right yet.
Not yet.
I think there's just
Gotta
a
get
lot of
this done
waiting.
first.
That's right, that's
Right.
right.
It's
But
a
there's a lot of,
marathon,
just to
not a
let everyone know,
sprint.
there's a lot of good things happening, and a lot of good work being done. And we'll hope it all ends up being all for the positive.
So it looks like target maximum size is 22. On grade 3 though, here, it's 18. This average class size, it's close to 20. And looking at current average class size by grade.
Right.
Just curious, 19, 20, 21, all that, and all of a sudden this drops down to 18. I'm just.
Yeah,
It's
it's just the cohort
okay,
sizes, yeah.
statistical. But if you're looking, that's the current average class sizes there.
Right.
Okay.
So if we were in a single building, we wouldn't have a class size of 18.
Right.
We could manipulate that, because we'd have 9 sections,
Oh,
and we'd
second
be able
grade,
to,
third
we'd be
grade.
able to drop down to 8, and then,
Okay.
you know, flex with our,
Yeah.
we'll be able to do a
Yeah.
lot more.
Yeah.
With 3 buildings, you do end up with some disproportionate class
I
sizes.
just,
Remember when we started, we were saying that Memorial Park had more students than
Right.
Jefferson,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so the one school will be able to,
yeah, no,
Adjust. Yeah.
it evens all out. Yeah, it just stood out to me.
Yeah.
caught your eye?
Okay, it did. And things like that. Okay, great.
No, I was impressed.
We have to approve this.
Yes, please.
So we'll look for a motion to approve the school building education plan, and we have one by Mr. Mills.
Second?
And we have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That's a vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Last but certainly not least, we have public service announcements. And as always, ladies first, Mrs. Maroney.
I don't have a public service announcement tonight. Thank you for having me be at the table tonight. And this
thank you for being here at the
4-day off vacation.
You had a day off today.
I had a
Well,
day
you
off.
didn't have a day off.
I
The
had a
kids
day
have
off with my children. I've had 4 with them.
I've been under the weather for a couple of weeks, and I am getting better. I feel better, and I thank everybody for all the well wishes that I've received, and cards and and comments and stuff like that. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Mr. Phillips.
A lot of good things going on educationally and athletically in the Rockland Public Schools, and I would echo somewhat what Tom said. I welcome him back. I have some idea of what he went through, and it's good to have him back to work and putting his nose to the grindstone.
And as far as me, guys, no more health scares. Well, you had us worried. Tom, we're glad to have you back. We're glad to have you back. We really, really are.
Like I said, we're back to school today, and kids, I got a stack of get well cards from
Well,
there.
that's nice of them.
All families, so.
Oh, we've been thinking of you.
Hey, that's
Yeah,
the
it was,
best
it
kind.
really is.
The other thing I was thinking about, and I'm kind of mad that I didn't do it tonight, I left my pink tie at home, and I really wanted to. It's October.
Oh, yeah.
It's our meeting in October. And despite the fact that I'm not wearing pink tonight, breast cancer awareness is very much on my mind. It is October. I think about it every day. My mom died 3 years ago of breast cancer. And what I think a lot of people don't realize is men suffer with breast cancer and experience breast cancer quite a bit too. So my only thought of the night is take care of yourself, whether it be self-checks, whether it be getting your scans done and getting your tests done and seeing your doctor. People love you. Take care of yourself. And with that, we'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Aye.
Have a great night.
You can, my friend.